Master, there is more than one ancient clan between the mountains and the clouds. The ancient clan controlling the southern war zone is not the same as the clan that came to Falling Sky Valley previously, said Enchanting. The ancient clan that came to the Falling Sky Valley previously was the most powerful ancient clan in this mainland and had members who were 10th Heaven Yang Lords. However, in the Battle of the Falling Sky Valley, most of the powerful cultivators of that ancient clan had been killed by Divine King Luo Shui, so they were greatly weakened. However, the ancient clan holding the southern zone was an ancient clan hidden between the mountains and clouds and was different from the other ancient clan. Perfected Xianqin relaxed after hearing Yi Qingtang's explanation. At that moment, the Yi family members all sighed. The mainland's battlefield was divided into 3 zones. They were cultivators in the southern battlefield but were too weak to fight the ancient Yu clan. Although they were cultivators of this mainland, they had no way of protecting their homeland once it was invaded. They were not even worthy of entering the battlefield. Even Yi Qingtang was somewhat worried. Even without dividing up the powerful cultivators of this mainland, the Pagoda Sword Master, the Ultimate Elder, and the Master of the Ancient Clan could hold their own against the 3 generals. The extremely powerful cultivators at the same level as the generals were about equal in numbers. But below the rank of general, their numbers differed vastly. The vast difference in numbers meant that this mainland would die slowly. The Ultimate Elder and Pagoda Sword Master, and even the Master of the Ancient Clan, knew this, but they had no other recourse. If things carried on like that, before long, the 3 battlefields would slowly be lost. Eldest young lady, what should we do? Daoist Zijin looked at Yi Qingtang and asked worriedly. Besides the powerful cultivators from the hidden ancient clan and the ancient Yu clan, cultivators at the level of Daoist Zijin would normally be considered the most powerful cultivators in this mainland, second only to the 3 main forces. But with the changes that occurred in this mainland, the ancient Yu clan's invasion, the Pagoda Sword Master's return, the Ultimate Elder's appearance, the hidden ancient clan resurfacing, their status was reduced to nothing. They were not even worthy of being used as cannon fodder. Yi Qingtang frowned slightly and did not hurry to answer. Based on Yi Qingtang and the Blood Moon Elder's power, they could be considered the most powerful cultivators in this mainland. However, they were unable to change the tide of battle. The ancient Yu clan was just too powerful and too numerous. Also, there was still the powerful commander-in-chief who had not yet made an appearance. In the long run, how long could this mainland last? A few days. A few months. Or even half a year. No matter how long it lasted, the conclusion was inevitable. This heralded the end of this mainland's hopes. Yi Qingtang took a deep breath. Although she felt helpless to change the situation, at that moment, her gaze swept across everyone in the Falling Sky Valley, and she spoke decisively. I will protect all of you, until the last possible moment. In her previous life, she had no cares or worries. She had left this mainland early without knowing what kind of crisis it experienced in the end. Today, the people she cared about the most were all in this mainland. Her relatives, her master, even though there was no hope, she would guard them all to the very end. When they heard that, everyone quavered. Although Yi Qingtang had not spoken loudly, each one of her decisive words reached their ears. It was just a simple sentence, but under the circumstances, this promise was worth its weight in gold. Qingtang, come with me. Perfected Xianqin looked at Yi Qingtang and spoke suddenly. Yi Qingtang immediately handed little Luo Shui over to her father, Yi Ling, and followed Perfected Xianqin. Yi Qingtang and Perfected Xianqin soon came to a desolate place. Qingtang, I have discovered something. Perfected Xianqin checked to ensure that there was no one about before speaking. Yi Qingtang was taken aback when she saw Perfected Xuanqin's expression. She did not know what had happened to cause Perfected Xianqin to act so mysteriously. Master, may I ask what has happened? Yi Qingtang vaguely sensed that Perfected Xianqin had something important to tell her. Perfected Xianqin pondered for a moment before saying, "Qingtang, I suppose you know about little Yuyun's background." Although she did not know why Perfected Xianqin had suddenly mentioned little Yuyun, Yi Qingtang was naturally aware of her background. Little Yuyun was created from the power of the extraordinary lattice spiritual abode. The source of her power was the spiritual abode. Of course, this was merely Yi Qingtang's guess. But no matter what, little Yuyun had some close connection with the extraordinary lady. Yi Qingtang even suspected that little Yuyun was the extraordinary lattice reincarnation. "Qingtang, I'll just speak bluntly, you may not believe me, because even I find it hard to believe it myself." Perfected Xianqin looked at Yi Qingtang mysteriously. When she saw the serious Perfected Xianqin looking so mysterious, Yi Qingtang could not help but laugh softly. "Master, what's the big secret? Stop being mysterious." "Qingtang, yesterday I discovered by chance that little Yuyun can control the spirit energy in this mainland." Perfected Xianqin finally blurted out what he had seen and heard. Yi Qingtang's expression changed when she heard Perfected Xuanqin's words. To be able to control the spirit energy in this mainland, what kind of concept was that? It was akin to being a true god. "Master, is that true?" Yi Qingtang was somewhat skeptical. "Absolutely." Perfected Xianqin nodded repeatedly. "Qingtang, you should know that we martial cultivators basically rely on spirit energy. The difference between powerful and weak cultivators is the ability to control and absorb spirit energy. To become a powerful cultivator, one must be situated in a place rich in spirit energy and physically absorb this spirit energy to achieve breakthroughs to the next level. If little Yuyun can control spirit energy, then she can." As Perfected Xianqin spoke, a trace of shock surfaced in Yi Qingtang's eyes. Of course, Yi Qingtang understood this principle. If little Yuyun could really control spirit energy, then in some sense, she could create gods. "I understand." Yi Qingtang muttered softly to herself. Little Yuyun and the extraordinary lady had some intimate connection, and this mainland was created from the extraordinary lattice spiritual abode. It made sense that little Yuyun could control the spirit energy in this mainland. It was as if the extraordinary lady herself was present. A moment later, Yi Qingtang followed Perfected Xianqin to the pavilion. Little Yuyun was in her room. Little Yuyun's eyes brightened the moment she saw Yi Qingtang. However, she seemed unwilling to acknowledge Perfected Xianqin and pouted. When he saw that, Perfected Xianqin looked rather embarrassed. "Little Yuyun, are you still angry with grandfather?" When Perfected Xianqin saw that little Yuyun could control spirit energy, he had deliberately asked little Yuyun to repeatedly perform her actions. In the end, little Yuyun had grown impatient and refused to respond to Perfected Xianqin. "Ha, little Yuyun, don't be angry. Grandfather has brought you a treat." Perfected Xianqin laughed happily and strode forward. He took out a stick of candy from somewhere. Chapter 1161, Supplying Spirit Energy. 1. Little Yuyun stared unblinkingly at the candy with her large black eyes. Her little tongue greedily licked her small lips. She waved her small hands, walked over to take the candy from Perfected Xuanqin's hands, and smiled brilliantly. Yi Qingtang was rendered speechless by her master's ease in coaxing children. When he saw that Yi Qingtang's expression looked rather strange, Perfected Xianqin laughed in embarrassment. "I once had a daughter, so I have some experience in coaxing children." Her master was certainly multi-talented. Little Yuyun held the candy that Perfected Xianqin had handed her and licked it with satisfaction. Her little face beamed with a sweet smile. When he saw that little Yuyun did not seem to be angry anymore, Perfected Xianqin gently coaxed her. "Little Yuyun, can you manipulate the spirit energy once more for grandfather?" Little Yuyun tilted her head to look at perfected Xianqin. Her large black eyes blinked, then, she glanced at the candy in her hand that was mostly gone. She stuffed the remaining piece in her mouth so that her little cheeks bulged. She clapped her small hands and with her cheeks still bulging, nodded at perfected Xianqin. Perfected Xianqin could not help but laugh softly at little Yuyun. He involuntarily rubbed her small head and said gently, "Little Yuyun is such a good girl. Grandfather will bring her to eat something nice later." When little Yuyun heard that, her eyes immediately brightened, and she nodded vigorously. Enchanting could not help but giggle at the scene. If she had not seen it with her own eyes, she would not have imagined that the usually dignified perfected Xianqin was so good at coaxing children. It looked like perfected Xianqin was getting along well with little Yuyun. However, little Yuyun was just too easy to coax. A stick of candy and she was content. Perfected Xianqin and Enchanting swiftly brought little Yuyun out of the house. "Go ahead," perfected Xianqin gently patted little Yuyun's small head. Little Yuyun batted her eyelids and stepped forward. The next second, little Yuyun's eyes slowly turned green, and an indescribable aura surged forth from her body. In a split second, the spirit energy in the void sank. An immense amount of spirit energy visibly accumulated in the void above. The density of the spirit energy far exceeded the limit of this mainland. "This is a miracle," perfected Xianqin looked at the spirit energy in the void above. Although he had seen it once, he could not help but exclaim again. When Enchanting saw this amazing scene, a trace of wonder involuntarily surfaced in her eyes. This mainland was created from the extraordinary lattice spiritual abode. In a sense, in this mainland, the extraordinary lady was equivalent to a creator god. It was entirely possible that she possessed a supreme power that allowed her to control the spirit energy. Further, little Yuyun had some intricate connection with the extraordinary lady. Although her ability to control this mainland spirit energy was beyond Enchanting's expectations, it was also within reason. When she saw this scene, an idea suddenly surfaced in Enchanting's mind. If little Yuyun could send spirit energy into a cultivator's body, little Yuyun heard Enchanting murmur. Little Yuyun tilted her head and glanced at Enchanting. Her eyes flickered. Then, she looked at perfected Xianqin as if she had suddenly thought of something. Her eyes flashed. In the next second, the extremely dense spirit energy in the void above immediately rushed into Falling Sky Valley. Enchanting and perfected Xianqin were shocked to see the dense spirit energy suddenly rush towards them. But before they understood what was going on, the dense spirit energy that was pouring down swiftly shrouded perfected Xianqin. The spirit energy that enclosed perfected Xianqin suddenly rushed into his body at great speed. Enchanting, who was watching from the side, saw huge amounts of spirit energy rushing into perfected Xianqin's body. Her eyes widened involuntarily. As huge amounts of spirit energy rushed in, perfected Xianqin's martial ability increased with unimaginable speed in the span of a few short breaths. Perfected Xianqin looked shocked, and his face was filled with disbelief. "I've broken through, how is that possible?" He had been at the third heaven of Yin Yang perfected Lord for many years. Many years ago, his martial ability had reached a bottleneck. However, within the span of a few short breaths, he had broken through to the fifth heaven of Yin Yang perfected Lord. Before perfected Xianqin could finish speaking, he looked shocked again. "Yin Yang perfected Lord. Sixth heaven, what is this?" In an instant, his ability had increased by another level. Perfected Xianqin was unable to believe what was happening. It was as if he was in a dream. However, his breakthrough in cultivation level was real. As perfected Xianqin's cultivation level broke through to the Yang Lord realm of Yin Yang perfected Lord's seventh heaven, Enchanting's keen senses perceived that perfected Xianqin's face was starting to turn pale, and his entire body began to shudder violently. Little Yu Yun, stop for a while. Enchanting flew over to Little Yu Yun and spoke hurriedly. Little Yu Yun looked at Enchanting in bewilderment but obediently nodded her head and dispersed the spirit energy that surrounded perfected Xianqin. Just as Little Yu Yun dispersed the spirit energy, perfected Xianqin stumbled backward for a few meters before he could finally stand firmly. He was completely ashen and covered with large drops of sweat. Master, are you all right? Enchanting looked at perfected Xianqin worriedly. No big deal, just. Perfected Xianqin panted heavily and shook his head. I've reached the limit of my ability to absorb spirit energy. Enchanting only relaxed after hearing perfected Xuanqin's words. It looked like Little Yu Yun could indeed control the spirit energy in this mainland. Also, Little Yu Yun was entirely capable of sending spirit energy into a cultivator's body, causing their martial ability to improve greatly in a short span of time. Because of Yu Yun's curse, in this mainland, the highest realm that cultivators could reach was Yin Yang Perfected Lord. However, breaking through to the 9th and 10th heaven of Yang Lord had nothing to do with spirit energy. Instead, one had to open an iron door in one's dantian. Hence, Little Yu Yun's use of spirit energy was limited to helping a cultivator break through to the peak of the 8th heaven of Yin Yang Perfected Lord. Also, a cultivator's tolerance was limited. Not all cultivators could tolerate the impact of the spirit energy that would bring them to the peak of the 8th heaven of Yin Yang Perfected Lord within a short span of time. A cultivator's body was like a vessel while spirit energy was like water in the vessel. If the rate at which the spirit energy was being supplied could be carefully controlled, then a cultivator could swiftly increase his capabilities within a short span of time. However, once the supply of spirit energy exceeded the limit of what cultivator's body could tolerate, the consequences would be dire. Whether it was a blessing or a curse would depend on whether the spirit energy supplied exceeded what the cultivator could tolerate. For example, after perfected Xianqin broke through to the peak of the 7th heaven of Yin Yang Perfected Lord, his body was unable to tolerate any more spirit energy. That was his limit, but if he was forced to continually absorb spirit energy for further breakthroughs, he would explode and die. Grandfather, when Little Yu Yun saw how pale perfected Xianqin was, she thought that she had done something wrong. She pursed her lips, and her eyes were misty with self-reproach. Little Yu Yun is a good girl. Grandfather is fine. Grandfather is so grateful to Little Yu Yun. Perfected Xuanqin's eyes were emotional. He had never imagined that he could become a Yang Lord in this lifetime. When she saw Little Yu Yun's self-reproachful look, Enchanting could not help but chuckle. She hugged Little Yu Yun and spoke to her gently. Little Yu Yun has done very well. Grandfather is fine. Little Yu Yun looked at Enchanting with some bewilderment and then looked at perfected Xianqin before slowly nodding. I really must thank Little Yu Yun. I have actually managed to become a Yang Lord. Perfected Xianqin was all smiles. If he had not experienced it himself, he would never have believed that he could have gone from the 3rd heaven of Yin Yang Perfected Lord to the peak of the 7th heaven of Yin Yang Perfected Lord, to become a Yang Lord within half a minute. It felt like a dream or a fantasy. It was surreal. However, perfected Xianqin swiftly suppressed his emotions and turned to look at Enchanting. Enchanting, since Little Yu Yun can control spirit energy and send it into my body, that means that she can do the same, to create Yang Lords. That's right. From a certain perspective, that is certainly true. Enchanting nodded. In that case, in our Falling Sky Valley, including the Yi and Si families, if we all become Yang Lords, no, if everyone in this mainland becomes a Yang Lord, then we will have nothing to fear from the ancient Yu clan of Central Mainland. Perfected Xianqin became more and more agitated when he thought of this possibility. When she saw Perfected Zuanshan's agitated look, Enchanting shook her head and said, "Theoretically that's true, but it is impossible in reality." It is impossible in reality. When he heard Enchanting's words, Perfected Xianshan was taken aback. Why? Master, you could break through to the realm of Yang Lord because your martial talents and mental state were sufficient, Enchanting said seriously. Even so, you reached the limit at the peak of the yin-yang seventh heaven. If you had forced yourself to break through to the eighth heaven, it will be very dangerous, and you might explode. It is the same for everyone else. For an ordinary disciple, their limit would be a yin lord like you. If they were forced to break through to the level of Yang Lord, they might be in danger. They cannot become Yang Lords unless they all have a superior martial talent and mental states. Also, ordinary people who have never cultivated before and Khanate-level cultivators cannot tolerate too much spirit energy. Although this method was good, it was limited by the cultivators themselves. Perfected Xianshan understood after hearing Enchanting's explanation. An ordinary person who had never cultivated before could not tolerate spirit energy filling their bodies, while those at the Khanate level were not at a sufficiently high level of cultivation. They had not even reached the threshold of martial arts cultivation and could not tolerate too much spirit energy. For them, becoming Yang Lords was a mere fantasy. When he realized that, Perfected Xianshan could not help but feel disappointed. Chapter 1164, The Light of Hope, 1. As she watched the joy fade from Perfected Zuanshan's face, Enchanting said, "But no matter what, little Yu Yun can still create a batch of powerful cultivators for us." The mainland was currently divided into 3 main battlefields. They already lacked powerful cultivators, but now, the situation was worsened by the division. The ancient Yu clan was different. They had plenty of powerful cultivators, so they were not greatly affected by the division of the battlefield. If little Yu Yun could create more powerful cultivators, they might have a chance. In that case, let us quickly ask the 12 peak masters and Daoist Zijin to receive spirit energy from little Yu Yun. Perfected Xianshan said. But another thought came to his mind, and he felt something was amiss. So, he changed the topic and spoke carefully. Actually, we shouldn't act precipitately. We first have to ascertain their loyalty to this mainland. Otherwise, they might betray this mainland after becoming Yang Lords and join the ancient Yu clan. Then, we would have strengthened the enemy instead. As the ancient Yu clan aggressively swept through the land, there would certainly be some traitors among the major forces. Considering the current circumstances, Perfected Xianshan had to be cautious and prepared for the worst. Enchanting had also considered Perfected Zuanshan's worries. But how were they to prove something like loyalty at a time like that? One must not doubt one's subordinates. If one doubted them, then they should not be entrusted with anything. Enchanting understood this principle. Master, there presently is no good method of proving the depth of their loyalty to this mainland. But I think that since everyone grew up in this mainland and their relatives and friends are all here, if we should lose the battle, everyone will die. I believe everyone understands this principle. There is hope only in victory. No one will willingly go over to the enemy who has come to destroy our home, said Enchanting. Of course, it would be best if every person's loyalty could be individually tested. But at the moment, they lacked the time to do so. Furthermore, Enchanting also believed they knew that if they went over to the ancient Yu clan, they would be mere lackeys in the eyes of the clan. Who would willingly be a lackey? Sigh. I hope so. Perfected Xianshan heaved a sigh. After some discussion between Perfected Xianshan and Yin-Yang Perfected Lord, they summoned the 12 peak masters. Enchanting also gathered Daoist Zijin, Elder by Kuei, and all the Yin-Yang Perfected Lords in the Yi and Si families. When everyone had congregated, they noticed that Perfected Zuanshan's ability had already increased to the realm of Yang Lord. The last time they saw perfected Xianqin, he had been a mere yin-yang perfected lord. Third heaven. How had he managed to become a yang lord, in the span of a few hours? Everyone was perplexed and shocked. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. When perfected Xianqin saw that everyone was present, he did not delay further and explained to everyone how his ability had increased so rapidly. But he deliberately hid the fact that little Yu Yun could control the spirit energy in this mainland. This matter was just too unbelievable. Also, perfected Xianqin and Enchanting were worried that some might have evil designs on little Yu Yun if they found out about her special ability. However, even after hiding little Yu Yun's role in this matter, the issue was still shocking. Valley Master Xianqin, are you saying you have a method to make us yang lords? Daoist Zijin was shocked. That's right. Perfected Xianqin nodded with a serious expression. Qingtang found a Dharma treasure that can control spirit energy. Afterward, perfected Xianqin peered at Yi Qingtang discreetly. This was the explanation that he and Yi Qingtang discussed earlier on. After hearing what perfected Xianqin said, Elder Bai Kuei and the rest looked at Yi Qingtang in astonishment. Control this mainland's spirit energy. Yi Qingtang nodded and agreed according to the priorly agreed explanation with perfected Xianqin. Yes. Holy Lady, control this mainland's spirit energy. In this case, we can create a god. The Blood Moon Elder's towering body approached them with great strides, causing thunderous rumbles. Look, how much spirit energy can this huge and unrivaled body of mine digest? In this case, I can become an emperor-level figure. No, I can become a god. Blood Moon Elder looked at Yi Qingtang in exhilaration. Holy Lady, don't waste any more time. Give me all the spirit energy to digest. By then, I can crush the Yu ancient clan into pieces with a single punch. Give it all to you, that is too much from you. Where are you from and who are you to talk so arrogantly? What do you mean by giving all to you? Can't we become powerful figures and protect our homeland? Eldest young lady, who is this monster? Before Yi Qingtang could explain, the Blood Moon Elder's lips twitched. I'm a monster. What a joke. My unrivaled body can absorb tons of spirit energy, and it is nothing difficult to be an emperor-level figure by then. What do you all want to absorb spirit energy with your ant-like bodies for? It's simply a waste. Also, I am not a monster. I am an elder of the Blood Moon sect, and I possess this body from an ancient Yu clan elder. An elder of Blood Moon sect. Big deal, yeah, I don't see your Blood Moon sect coming to protect our homeland. You're big-sized, so you're great. There are so many emperor-level figures, but there's barely anyone with a body like yours. Yi Qingtang was having a splitting headache from the quarrel, and she frowned immediately. Quiet. Do you all hear it? Told you all to shut up. The Blood Moon Elder snickered. I want you to keep quiet. Yi Qingtang shot a look at Blood Moon Elder. The voice of Blood Moon Elder's current body was like thunder that hurt everyone's eardrums, and no one could withstand it. You're already at the peak of Yang Lord 8th Heaven, and this is the limit that this mainland can withstand. No matter how much spirit energy you absorb, you will only be a Yang Lord on this mainland. It is impossible to become an emperor-level figure, much less a god. Everyone has a different limit for the absorption of spirit energy, and absorbing spirit energy by force will only result in death. Yi Qingtang looked at the Blood Moon Elder and poured cold water on the Blood Moon Elder, waking him up from his beautiful dream of becoming an emperor-level figure. What? This? Blood Moon Elder was surprised by Yi Qingtang's explanation. Daoist Zijin, Elder Bai Kuei, and the rest wanted to laugh when they saw the Blood Moon Elder's expression. This person was truly greedy to want to become an emperor-level figure and even a god. the spirit energy on this mainland was limited. Becoming an emperor-level figure required the absorption of spirit energy, coordination of a corresponding mental state, and even some mysterious enlightenment. On top of that, all of those would only give a tiny chance of becoming an emperor-level figure. The Blood Moon Elder sighed immediately. After everything, he could not absorb spirit energy and was agitated for nothing. Chapter 1166, The Light of Hope, 3. Very quickly, Perfected Xianchen returned to a small pavilion not far away and instructed her to control the spirit energy in the room to prevent others from seeing it. Before long, spirit energy rapidly condensed in the air above, and it was exceptionally rich. Looking at the spirit energy, Elder Bai Kuei exclaimed repeatedly. He was going to be the first person out of everyone to feel this power. Elder Bai Kuei, you must tell me when you've reached your limit, or else the consequences will be dire. Yi Qingtang warned once again. Eldest young lady, I understand. Let's begin. Elder Bai Kuei took a deep breath and said with a nod. As Elder Bai Kuei finished his sentence, the spirit energy in the air rapidly enshrouded him, and strings of spirit energy surged into his body. With just a few breaths, Elder Bai Kuei's martial realm advanced from Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 3rd Heaven to 4th Heaven and subsequently to 5th Heaven before everyone's eyes. When he reached the early stage of 8th Heaven, Elder Bai Kuei was ghastly white. Unable to bear the ripping pain that his body was experiencing, he shouted loudly. Eldest young lady, enough. Then, the spirit energy that enveloped Elder Bai Kuei faded away immediately. At this instant, everyone was utterly dumbfounded when they looked at Elder Bai Kuei, who was in the early stage of Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 8th Heaven. Although they learned from Perfected Xianchen that Yi Qingtang had a Dharma treasure that could control spirit energy, they still felt inexplicable amazement when they personally saw Elder Bai Kuei advancing from Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 3rd Heaven to Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 8th Heaven. Oh my God! This is simply an insane power. Daoist Zijin walked over to Elder Bai Kuei and shuddered when he felt Elder Bai Kuei's Yang Lord aura. Yet, he could not help but be exhilarated. In this case, eldest young lady would definitely help him become a Yang Lord. Eldest young lady, a Yi family branch master cupped his fists and asked Yi Qingtang, Perfected Xianchen is at the peak of Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 7th Heaven, but why is Elder Bai Kuei at Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 8th Heaven? Yi Qingtang explained. The absorption of spirit energy is based on the cultivator's own physique, martial talent, and mental state. You mean that, a cultivator is like a holder, and every holder is different. Some holders can absorb more spirit energy while others will absorb less spirit energy, the Yi family branch master was in thought. That's right. Yi Qingtang nodded her head. So whether we can become a Yang Lord still depends on whether we can absorb even more energy, Daoist Zijin said. The Blood Moon Elder was rather uninterested in their discussion. How great would it be if he could absorb spirit energy as well? The peak of Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 8th Heaven was the peak of this mainland. Although Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 9th Heaven and 10th Heaven both belonged to the Yin-Yang Perfected Lord realm, these two realms could not be achieved by relying on absorbing spirit energy. When little Luo Shui was just reincarnated, Yi Qingtang once felt the breath of Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 10th Heaven and had a slight understanding. There was an iron door at a cultivator's dantian. If this iron door could be opened, one could advance to Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 9th Heaven and even the 10th Heaven. Yi Qingtang once tried to open this iron door in her dantian, but no matter how hard she tried or what methods she used, she had no idea where the exact location of this iron door in her dantian was, much less opening it. Chapter 1167, The Light of Hope, 4. In this world, the number of cultivators corresponded to the number of powerful figures with attainments. However, how many people could advance to Yin-Yang Perfected Lord 9th Heaven and even 10th Heaven? These were known as the legendary realms as almost no one could enter it. If Enchanting could advance to Yin-Yang perfected Lord 10th Heaven with the injection of spirit energy, the Yu ancient clan would not be a threat at all. However, at this instant, the spirit energy in the air condensed once again and enveloped Daoist Zijin in no time. Under everyone's nervous watch, Daoist Zijin paled and shouted to stop after 10 breaths. Peak of Yang Lord 7th Heaven, Daoist Zijin's eyes were filled with disbelief and excitement when he inspected his realm. Everyone there had never thought that they could hope to become a Yang Lord in their lives. Thank you, eldest young lady. Thank you so much. Daoist Zijin walked to Enchanting and bowed. Enchanting, however, was very clear that she was not the one who allowed Daoist Zijin to advance but little Yu Yun. However, in consideration of little Yu Yun's safety, she could not be seen, thus, Enchanting could only represent little Yu Yun to accept their thanks. With Daoist Zijin's success in the lead, the others were filled with anticipation and were eager to try. Without wasting time, Enchanting continued to let little Yu Yun control spirit energy in the dark and inject spirit energy into others. Under the continuous injection of spirit energy, 8 out of the 12 peak masters had advanced to the Yang Lord realm. As for the remaining 4 people, their bodies could no longer bear any further injection of spirit energy and only managed to break through to the peak of Yin-Yang perfected Lord 6th Heaven. Despite so, those 4 peak masters were satisfied as well. If they could survive in this war, they should be able to reach the Yang Lord realm if they cultivated for the rest of their lives. Time ticked by, and more people's skills were raised. In the evening, perfected Xianchen walked out from the small pavilion and whispered in Enchanting's ears. Little Yu Yun is tired and cannot continue to control the spirit energy. Enchanting nodded slightly. Little Yu Yun was already doing sufficiently well, and there was no need to hurry to finish in one day now that they had completely grasped this method. Enchanting turned to look at the remaining people who had not received the injection of spirit energy and said, I am tired from controlling the Dharma treasure. It'll continue after a day of rest. You've worked hard, eldest young lady. A few C family Yin-Yang perfected Lord figures immediately thanked Enchanting with cupped fists. After everyone left, the Blood Moon Elder looked at Enchanting with an odd expression. Holy Lady, when did you obtain a Dharma treasure that can control spirit energy? Why do I not know? The Blood Moon Elder had been following Enchanting but was unaware that Enchanting owned such a Dharma treasure. He had already found it strange when he heard Enchanting saying this, but he was not a fool. Since Enchanting said this publicly, he naturally could not ask her in front of everyone. Seeing that everyone had left, Enchanting was candid and explained the situation to the Blood Moon Elder. A light broke in upon the Blood Moon Elder. Yet, exactly because of this, the Blood Moon Elder was somehow rather moved by Enchanting's decision to tell him about everything. The Blood Moon Elder was aware of the importance of this matter, and the fact that Enchanting did not hide anything from him clearly showed her trust in him. He would definitely not disappoint her. Holy Lady, it's dark already. Where do you think is suitable for me to stay? The Blood Moon Elder took a deep breath and asked Enchanting. Where to stay in? Enchanting sized up Blood Moon Elder's huge body and was speechless for the moment. How about, you find a random mountain valley or something? The Blood Moon Elder's new body was too huge, and there was no room in Falling Sky Valley where he could stay in. All right. Blood Moon Elder was slightly dumbfounded, and he left helplessly. While this new body was powerful, it was rather troublesome in his day-to-day activities. After the Blood Moon Elder left, Enchanting headed to the small pavilion alone. Little Yu Yun was already fast asleep on Enchanting's bed. Knowing that little Yu Yun worked hard today, Enchanting did not wake her up for her to have a good rest. Over the 2 days, there was a limit to the time in which Little Yu Yun controlled the spirit energy, and the process of creating powerful figures slowed down. In this period of time, from the South battlefield, there had been continuous news of the ancient clan's defeat. In less than half a month, the formidable Heavens dynasty and the surrounding land had been completely dominated by Yu ancient clan, and it was said that more than 10 young lords from the ancient clan were killed. The north and east battlefield were guarded by Ultimate Elder and Pagoda Sword Master respectively, and the situation was considered to be in control at the moment, unlike the south battlefield, which was close to a complete defeat. In reality, it was not that the mainland's obscure ancient clan was weak. It was just that the Yu ancient clan greatly valued Little Yu Yun, who was in Falling Sky Valley of the Nine Knights dynasty. Thus, they increased the deployment and offense capabilities in the south battlefield. The next morning, Peerless School's sect master paid a visit to Falling Sky Valley personally. The ancient clan wishes to invite Miss Yi to join the south battlefield. The current situation in the south battlefield is not optimistic. The Peerless School sect master was donned in a green robe and was about 60 years old. Standing at the lower end of the main hall, he looked at Enchanting not far away and sighed softly. A Peerless School warden who headed to Falling Sky Valley was killed and then revived by Divine King Luo Shui previously, and the Peerless School sect master learned of Falling Sky Valley's situation from that warden. What he was more surprised about was that one of Perfected Zuanshan's little disciple was already a young lord at such a young age. Now that he met her today, she was indeed impressive. Enchanting looked at the Peerless School sect master for a second. After remaining silent for a while, she finally spoke. My master Perfected Zuanshan's daughter died in the hands of your Peerless School disciples. The Peerless School sect master's expression changed when he heard that. From afar, an icy glint and sadness appeared in Perfected Zuanshan's eyes. Back then, Perfected Zuanshan's daughter had a stunning appearance and was known as Nine Knights dynasty's top beauty. When the Peerless School disciples failed at courting her, she was cruelly humiliated and then killed. Perfected Xianqin had never forgotten and could not forget about this incident. If not for the fact that the current mainland was invaded by outsiders, Perfected Xianqin, who had become a young lord, would definitely not leave the matter at that and would definitely fight it out with Peerless School. However, given the current situation, Peerless School also belonged to one of the main combat forces in the south battlefield, and the death of any one young lord was a heavy loss to this mainland. I did hear about this matter. The Peerless School sect master nodded hesitantly after a long while and said. However, in the eyes of Peerless School, the Peerless School was superior and represented absolute authority in the Nine Knights dynasty's land. As such, the Peerless School sect master did not care about it and had never respected Falling Sky Valley. But today, Falling Sky Valley was not like before. Let's not talk about him today. How does Peerless School intend to give Falling Sky Valley an explanation? Enchanting said coldly. I understand. Peerless School sect master looked behind. Two Peerless School senior executives dragged a young man who was about 30 years old into the main hall. Valley Master Xianqin, this is the murderer of your daughter. He was only a disciple in Peerless School back then. He has passed the age for disciples, and his performance is pretty good, so he became a warden in Peerless School. I brought him here to Falling Sky Valley today for you to punish him however you want, Peerless School sect master said. The Peerless School did not care for a mere warden, what the Peerless School minded was just their face. Handing this warden to Falling Sky Valley was equivalent to telling the world that the Peerless School yielded to the Falling Sky Valley. However, the current situation was very unique. The south battlefield had fallen into an extremely disadvantageous position. Should this continue on, Peerless School would definitely be annihilated. Moreover, the Yu ancient clan had already begun invading the Nine Knights dynasty's land. Furthermore, the Peerless School was at fault for this incident from the start. Enchanting sized up that young warden and then looked at Perfected Xianqin. She was very clear that regardless of the conflicts and grudges between Falling Sky Valley and Peerless School, neither party should blow up at the other in such a special period. Perfected Xianqin was naturally aware of the current circumstance as well. Since Peerless School was willing to hand over that disciple, it was considered their act of sincerity, and Perfected Xianqin would not hold on to the past matter. Immediately, Perfected Xianqin walked forward and arrived beside that young male. The young male trembled slightly and looked at Perfected Xianqin in fear. Swoosh! Without uttering a word, Perfected Xianqin struck his palm out and crushed the young male's skull with his palm force. Looking at the young man who tragically died before him, the rage that Perfected Xianqin had been repressing for years seemed to dissipate at this moment. No matter what, he personally avenged his daughter, Valley Master Xianqin. We are extremely regretful of the incident back then. If this mainland can be safe and the enemies are chased away, my Peerless School will definitely give you a satisfying compensation. The Peerless School sect master looked at Perfected Xianqin and said. Perfected Xianqin shook his head. Forget about the compensation. His daughter had already died, and however much compensation was unable to retrieve the situation. Now, his daughter's murderer was personally killed by him, and he did not wish to continue pursuing or mentioning this matter. After seeing that Perfected Xianqin had completely calmed down, Daoist Zijin told the Peerless School sect master. Tell us about the situation in the South Battlefield. The South Battlefield is guarded by the master of the obscure ancient clan, but the Yu ancient clan increased the deployment of powerful figures into the South Battlefield. It is difficult for us to resist them. The formidable Heavens dynasty is currently lost. Peerless School, Phantom Valley, and Biming Manor suffered heavy losses, and it is the same for the ancient clan, causing parts of the Nine Knights dynasty to be seized as well. The Peerless School sect master could not help but sigh after informing them of the situation. The sect master of Peerless School wished to gather even more strength now to delay more time. Although just one young lord, Enchanting, did not matter much to the overall situation of the South Battlefield, it was better than nothing to have the combat power of an additional young lord. As long as they could buy enough time, perhaps the North or East Battlefield would have news of victory soon. By then, Pagoda Sword Master or Ultimate Elder would definitely be able to deploy troops to aid the South Battlefield. Enchanting knew what the Peerless School sect master was thinking of, and although it was a good idea, reality was extremely cruel. Currently, with the Yu ancient clan increasing the number of powerful figures in the South Battlefield, Ultimate Elder and Pagoda Sword Master could only barely resist the Yu ancient clan in their own battlefields, and this merely slowed down Yu ancient clan's momentum in the complete invasion. As time passed, the poison in the Yu ancient clan members would weaken, and their skills would conversely increase, causing the annihilation of this mainland to be just a matter of time. While little Yu Yun could control the spirit energy on this mainland and produce even more young lords, this was merely delaying the death of this mainland. It was almost unrealistic to completely defeat the Yu ancient clan, as its might was perhaps way beyond imagination. It was a pity that Divine King Luo Shui and those obscure ancient clan figures who could fight against Divine King Luo Shui had already died. Otherwise, any one of them with the power of a yin-yang perfected Lord 10th Heaven could turn the situation around. Regardless of such, no one would sit around and wait for death. Even though they knew it was impossible to succeed, they could not wait for death to arrive. What do you want us to do? Elder Bai Kuei looked at the Peerless School sect master and asked. Head to the battlefield and stop Yu ancient clan's continued invasion. Peerless School sect master said. The thousands of people in the hall successively looked at Enchanting. Enchanting was now the absolute core of Falling Sky Valley. If she agreed, they would follow her orders as part of their incumbent duty, but if she refused, they would not listen to the peerless school sect master to head to the battlefield. We understand. It is our foremost duty to play a part now that the mainland is in trouble. Once we are done settling with the valley's matters, we will head to the battlefield immediately to protect our homeland. Enchanting looked at the peerless school sect master and promised. All right. I will not impose on you any further. The peerless school sect master cupped his fists in gratitude and left. After the peerless school sect master left, perfected Xianchen looked at Yi Qingtang and asked, Qingtang, will we be able to guard the south battlefield? Perfected Xianchen had never witnessed the Yu ancient clan's prowess before, thus, he was unclear. However, if they could be so powerful that both Pagoda Sword Master and Ultimate Elder could not do much against them, they must be extremely powerful. Very difficult, Yi Qingtang said honestly. The situation of the south battlefield was not optimistic, and it could even be said to be the most dangerous battlefield out of the 3 battlefields. It was already very hard for the ancient clan master, Peerless School, and Biming Manor to resist until now. Although Yi Qingtang did not wish to boost other people's morale and reduce one's own courage, the fact was such, and there was nothing they could do. However, although they were unable to defeat the Yu ancient clan, the participation of the Falling Sky Valley would definitely slow down the Yu ancient clan's invasion, and there may be a turn in the situation in this period of time. In reality, Yi Qingtang had already made preparations to participate in the war from the start. Letting little Yu Yun raise everyone's skills was in preparation for this. However, she never expected the south battlefield situation to be so severe, and its tide of defeat was earlier than she predicted. Given the current situation, even if the peerless school sect master did not come forward personally, she would still participate in the war. The entire mainland was at stake, and Yi Qingtang would definitely not cower. 2 days later, with little Yu Yun's strength, a batch of yin-yang perfected lords was produced in Falling Sky Valley again. The majority of them were the younger generation of the Yi family disciples. However, the disciples' skills were lacking as compared to the senior executives. Most of them were between Yin Lord 5th Heaven and 6th Heaven, and only a few top talents in the Yi family were Yang Lords. For the senior executives, such as the Yi family clan master, Yi Ling, and Si family clan master Si, their martial foundations were too weak, and their martial talents were ordinary. Thus, it was difficult for them to become powerful figures even with little Yu Yun controlling the spirit energy. Over this period of time, Yi Qingtang also had discussions with Absolute Monarch of Heaven and the others from Central Mainland. This war concerned their safety, and they were originally from the Central Mainland, which meant that their skills were greater than the Falling Sky Valley and Yi family masses. As such, Yi Qingtang suggested for them to be responsible for investigating the war situation of the Yu ancient clan and especially on their commander. The Yu ancient clan commander had not shown up now, and no one knew how his skills were. The Absolute Monarch of Heaven and the rest were most suited to investigate this. Everyone hit off with Yi Qingtang instantly and left the valley to investigate at once. 2 days later, Yi Qingtang headed to Peerless School to look for the sect master and told him to bring her to the headquarters of the south battlefield. The Peerless School sect master immediately led Yi Qingtang to the south battlefield headquarters quickly. The headquarters of the south battlefield. Peerless School sect master led Yi Qingtang into the main hall. Most of the people in the hall were young lords of the ancient clan, and each of them was extremely powerful. In the secular part of this mainland, there were barely any powerful figures. Apart from Ultimate Elder and Pagoda Sword Master, the real powerful figures were in the ancient clan. If not for the urgent situation that the mainland was facing now, the obscure hidden clan would definitely not show up. However, despite such, they were on the losing ground when they encountered the Yu ancient clan of the central mainland. A white-haired elderly was seated on the host seat in the main hall. That elderly was the master of the ancient clan and was also the presiding general of the south battlefield. Although this elderly's skills could not be compared to that of Divine King Luo Shui and the powerful ancient figure whom Divine King Luo Shui killed, it was still extraordinary. "This is Enchanting," Peerless School Sect Master looked at the ancient clan master and said. The elderly nodded slightly and sized up Enchanting. Enchanting became a young lord at such a young age and was indeed special. However, in the obscure ancient clans between the mountains and seas, people like Enchanting were not considered rare. There was an even younger yet formidable young lord in the obscure ancient clans. It was a pity that young lord was killed by a ancient clan talent in the previous battle of the city. Obscure ancient clans never appeared before anyone, and most of the people on this mainland did not know about their existence. Even Enchanting was unclear about them. It was after seeing them today did Enchanting realize how powerful the obscure ancient clan's force was. Peerless School, Phantom Valley, and Biming Manor were the three strongest forces of this mainland, but compared to the obscure ancient clan, they were like stones to a mountain. The martial culture of the obscure ancient clan was very close to that of central mainland. If the spirit energy on this mainland was not so thin, this obscure ancient clan probably would not be short of powerful figures in the arcane supremacy and even heavenly venerate realm. However, with the restriction of the low-level mainland, one could not be compared to a powerful figure from a high-level mainland even if he was extremely talented. Such was fate. If the obscure ancient clan was also a force from the central mainland, perhaps they could fight against the ancient clan. There are still 7 cities that have not been attacked on our south battlefield. If even these last 7 cities are lost, the 9 Knights dynasty will fall to them, and it's equivalent to us losing the entire south region. One obscure ancient clan elderly looked at the ancient clan master and said. Upon hearing that, the ancient clan master wore a serious expression. The last 7 cities were potent to the entire south region, and the consequences were dire should they be lost to the ancient Yu clan. They were currently in a life and death crisis. Enchanting listened from the side without interrupting them. How is the deployment in the 7 cities? The ancient clan master asked a moment later. Among the 7 cities, 9 Fantasy City and Heaven City do not have sufficient people, and Heaven City's situation is particularly serious. There are 10 young talents of the ancient Yu clan, with 3 of them guarding outside the city. Several figures who charged forward either sustained heavy injuries or were killed. Mo Feng was killed by one of those ancient Yu clan talents. The ancient clan master fell silent. Enchanting had heard of the south battlefield situation from the Peerless School sect master. Mo Feng was the youngest talent of the obscure ancient clan. He was less than 14 years old but had already become a young lord. However, he died in the war outside Heaven City 3 days ago, and this was a great blow to both the obscure ancient clan and the south battlefield. Lord, Heaven City requires the deployment of powerful figures the most. Can Peerless School sect master or Phantom Valley sect master be deployed? The ancient clan elderly asked. Upon hearing that, the Peerless School sect master took a step forward and said, the 3 mighty forces are currently guarding Sky Eagle City, and it is already a heavy toll on us. I'm afraid we are unable to leave and head to Heaven City for assistance. All the powerful figures who were guarding each city could hardly look after themselves currently and did not have any energy to assist any other cities. After a few breaths later, that ancient clan elderly looked at Enchanting and observed her. This lady is rather skilled at Young Lord 8th Heaven. She can head to Heaven City. Enchanting did not express her opinions. Everyone else in the hall was much clearer of the south battlefield situation than her, and if there was a need, she would be bound to her duty. This is Miss Enchanting. She is one of the young lords of our mainland and is extremely skilled. Peerless School sect master explained. Upon hearing that, the Biming Manor chief looked at Enchanting coldly. This lady annihilated Biming Manor's subsidiary force, Yunshao sect, and even killed one young lord from their Biming manor. Miss Yi, are you willing to head to Heaven City to support them? The ancient clan master looked at Yi Qingtang and asked. Yes. Yi Qingtang nodded in agreement. Hearing that Yi Qingtang was willing to head to Heaven City, the Biming Manor chief snickered secretly. The powerful figure presiding over Heaven City had strong relations with him. Once Yi Qingtang reached Heaven City, she would have to listen to his commands, and by then, they just needed to let this lady die in the hands of the ancient Yu clan people. All right. The ancient clan master stood up and looked at Peerless School sect master. You will be responsible for bringing Miss Yi to Heaven City. Noted. Peerless School sect master agreed and immediately led Yi Qingtang out without any delay. After leaving the main hall, the Peerless School sect master looked at Yi Qingtang and asked meaningfully, Miss Yi, there is some conflict between you and Biming Manor, right? Yi Qingtang did not deny it. Back then, Biming Manor's young lords chased after her to take her life, but one of them was killed by her instead. It was indeed considered that there were some conflicts between her and Biming Manor then. Miss Yi, the commander guarding Heaven City, has a deep relationship with Biming Manor chief. You should be careful, Peerless School sect master said. Peerless School was very clear of Biming Manor chief's way of seeking revenge regardless of the consequences. However, in this special period of time, Peerless School sect master did not wish to see the people of this mainland killing each other. Thus, he reminded Yi Qingtang. Thank you for your reminder. I understand. Yi Qingtang nodded. Half a day later, Yi Qingtang arrived outside a huge city with the Peerless School sect master showing the way. Ahead of them was Heaven City. The surrounding city walls towered into the clouds, and the terrain was extremely steep, making the city appear to be easy to guard and difficult to attack. Even though the current combat power of the powerful figures in Heaven City was insufficient, it was tough for the ancient Yu clan to forcefully conquer Heaven City as well. Very quickly, Yi Qingtang and the Peerless School sect master were let into the city after revealing their identity. Peerless School sect master, it's been long. In no time, a middle-aged man walked over with great strides to welcome them. Long time no see, Brother Guyu. Peerless School sect master looked at the middle-aged man and smiled. This is Miss Yi, Yi Qingtang, one of the young lords of our mainland. She is here to aid Heaven City. A cold glint flashed across Gu Ye's eyes discreetly, though the smile remained on his face. Miss Yi, I know you. The eldest young lady of Yi family and the young valley master of Falling Sky Valley. A legendary figure of the mainland. Knowing a man by reputation is truly not as good as meeting him face to face. You have overpraised me. Yi Qingtang replied politely. Miss Yi, this is Brother Guyu, the overall commander of Heaven City. He is from the ancient clan and is also a young lord, Peerless School sect master said. Nice to meet you. Yi Qingtang nodded. It is the best that Miss Yi can come to Heaven City to assist us. The three talents of the ancient Yu clan are guarding outside the city, and the youngest young lord of the ancient clan, Mo Feng, lost his life in the battle 3 days ago. This is a huge blow to Heaven City. If not for the steep terrain of Heaven City which makes it hard to attack, it would probably have fallen already. Guyu sighed and shook his head. Please follow me. Then, Guyu led Peerless School sect master and Yi Qingtang toward the towering city walls. After arriving at the top of the city walls, the high position allowed one to take in the entire situation in the vicinity with the naked eye. Furthermore, there was an ancient array formation deep in the ground of Heaven City. Any powerful figure who was in close proximity to Heaven City would be unable to fly in the air. This was also one of the greatest resources of Heaven City they could rely on. Please take a look. A while later, Guyu raised his hand and pointed afar. Enchanting and Peerless School Sect Master immediately looked in the direction that Guyu pointed at, and what laid before their eyes was a temporary camp. Brother Guyu, is that you ancient clan's camp? Peerless School Sect Master had a solemn expression after looking at it. Guyu nodded and said, that's right, it is the Yu ancient clan's camp. They are fully prepared. Every noon, they trap us within the city and besiege the city. A few powerful figures within the city could not take this lying down and went out to counter them. In the end, there were many deaths and injuries, and even Mo Fong lost his life. Guyu sighed softly as helplessness overwhelmed him. There are many ordinary citizens in Heaven City and we are unable to replenish the food supplies and water after being trapped in the city. The stocked supplies are already running out now. Guyu shook his head. Young lords like Yi Qingtang and the Peerless School Sect Master could enter the city, and Yu Ancient Clan would not care nor stop them. However, if they were delivering water and rations, the Yu Ancient Clan would definitely kill the transporter. Yu Ancient Clan's invasion strategy in Heaven City was extremely obvious. There was an array formation beneath Heaven City which made flying impossible, and the city walls were too high to be broken through forcefully. However, as long as the water and ration supplies to Heaven City were broken, the Yu Ancient Clan could achieve victory without fighting in no time. Miss Yi, do you have any good ways to overcome the Yu Ancient Clan strategy? Guyu suddenly looked at Yi Qingtang and asked. None at the moment. Yi Qingtang replied honestly. Before Guyu could continue speaking, Peerless School Sect Master said, I cannot leave Sky Eagle City for too long and need to rush back now. Alright. Be careful on your way. Guyu nodded. After Peerless School Sect Master left, Yi Qingtang looked at the situation at the bottom from the top of the city walls and frowned. Just as she had thought earlier, Heaven City's situation was bleak. However, it was fortunate that the terrains were steep, so the Yu Ancient Clan could not do anything in a short while. With Yi Qingtang's arrival, the youth summoned 1,000 powerful figures to the top of the city walls. With Guyu included, the entire Heaven City had 3 young lords left currently, and the remaining people were at Yin Yang perfected Lord 4th Heaven to 6th Heaven. 2 of the young lords were heavily wounded from the battle with the Yu Ancient Clan talents. The remaining powerful figures had a lukewarm attitude to Yi Qingtang. They originally thought that the Ancient Clan Master would send some young lords at the peak of Yin Yang perfected Lord 8th Heaven, but they merely sent one person, and her cultivation base was only at the mid-stage of Young Lord 8th Heaven though she was young. What was the use of sending her then? Even the youngest young lord talent of the Ancient Clan, Mo Fong, died outside the city. Without sending more young lords at the peak, it was impossible to resolve this problem. Yi Qingtang was, however, not bothered by their lukewarm attitude, and she could even understand how they feel. If it was her, she might not be anywhere better than them either. However, the mainland party was already in a disadvantageous position in the south battlefield due to the insufficient number of powerful figures. Otherwise, the Peerless School Sect Master would not head to Falling Sky Valley to look for her. Miss Yi, why don't you go back to rest first? You can think of the countermeasure after recuperating and restoring your energy. Guyu suggested with a smile. However, before Yi Qingtang could reply, a group of Yu Ancient Clan people appeared at the bottom of the city walls. There was a crowd at the foot of the city walls. Many Yu Ancient Clan war flags waved in a clamorous fashion. Guyu and the other powerful figures in Heaven City frowned at the sight. The incomers were the Yu Ancient Clan forces, and there was a continuous influx of powerful figures from the camp afar. With a command from Guyu, thousands of archers rushed to all sides of the city walls and aimed their arrows at the Yu Ancient Clan masses beneath. Although Heaven City lost several times and sustained heavy injuries, it enjoyed a natural advantage, the ancient array formation in the ground prevented others from flying, and the city walls were reinforced through a unique technique, which made the city impregnable. Even though there were many powerful figures from the Yu ancient clan, they had to pay a price if they wished to forcefully invade the city. As such, the Yu ancient clan did not choose that option and instead surrounded Heaven City. Even if Heaven City did not accept the war, it was still a slow death. The Yu ancient clan is going too far, some Heaven City figures shouted furiously. Don't act rashly, Yu looked at them and said. But it is not a solution to go on like this. By then, Heaven City will also be defeated. A heavily injured elderly sighed. If the headquarters could send more powerful figures over, we would not be so passive. The headquarters should know about Heaven City's situation. Do they not care about our lives? We are not abandoned, are we? Many powerful figures in Heaven City commented successively. Where is the main city this troop is based on? Enchanting asked out of a sudden. It's the Dragon Elephant City 300 miles away. Yu replied. Enchanting nodded lightly. To completely resolve Heaven City's crisis, the only way was to do something in Dragon Elephant City. Heaven City people, are you all still not going to accept the battle today? At this instant, an elderly slowly walked out of a gold carriage among the Yu ancient clan masses. His cold gaze landed on the top of the city walls as he asked. Nonetheless, there was no reply. Miss Yi, you just reached Heaven City and are probably not familiar with this Yu ancient clan troop. That elderly who walked down from the gold carriage is Dragon Elephant City's commander. Yu looked at Enchanting and said. Enchanting nodded. The elderly's skills were exceptional, and he should be a senior executive of the Yu ancient clan. What is the purpose of guarding Heaven City? When the resources are depleted and we invade the city, you all will just be meat on a chopping board for us to butcher. The Yu ancient clan elderly chuckled. Everyone in Heaven City knew this logic without his reminder, but if they left the city to fight, if we fight, we will die. If we don't fight, we will also die. Why not just fight it out with them? A wounded young lord elderly shouted coldly as his eyes glistened. Out of the 10 insane talents of the Yu ancient clan, 3 of them are here. Even Mo Feng was killed by them. Once we leave the city to accept the battle, the consequences will be unbearable, Yu said with a frown. Commander, you're in charge of Heaven City. What do you think we should do? One of the powerful figures looked at Yu and asked. The geography of this place is to our advantage. There's no need to risk our lives to fight it out with the Yu ancient clan. Let's wait a while more. The headquarters will definitely deploy powerful figures here. Yu said. How long more must we wait? There are millions of people in Heaven City and millions of mouths to feed. The stored rations are simply insufficient to last them a few days. With the Yu ancient clan guarding this place, the rations team cannot enter. Even if there are powerful figures who can avoid the Yu ancient clan spies, how many supplies can they bring with just a space ring? How would it be enough for millions of people? Chapter 1176, Heaven City, 4. I have an idea, but, a young man said. What idea is it? Do tell us. We do not have a rations team and are trapped by the Yu ancient clan. The stored supplies in the city are already insufficient, and if this goes on, the citizens and even we will eventually run out of supplies. Instead of that, why not we take care of ourselves first? If the stored food and water in the city are not distributed to others, it is enough for our use. By then, since the Yu ancient clan likes to besiege the city, just let them be then. We will not die from hunger or thirst anyway, the young man said. Everyone was taken aback by what that young man said. I think it's feasible. Yu nodded his head, he had this thought a long time ago. No. That injured young lord elderly resisted with a frown. What is this? Those archers and the cultivators we recruited to counter the ancient clan are all from Heaven City. Their families and loved ones are all in the city. Are we abandoning millions of lives just to exchange for peace of mind on our food supplies? This is in consideration of the overall situation. If we cannot ensure sufficient food supply, the south battlefield will fall once again. Guyu defended. Miss Yi, what do you think? Guyu looked at Enchanting. Enchanting spoke after remaining silent for a while. I think that the root problem is not the food supplies but the difference in combat capabilities. Even if we leave the remaining resources in Heaven City for ourselves, it is also futile. To solve the root problem, they had to strike Dragon Elephant City. Currently, the south battlefield was too passive, and should this go on for long, they would not be far from being completely conquered by the ancient clan. Everyone, how about this? We will only send one person out today. If you all can win, we will retreat. What do you think? The ancient clan elderly said with a laugh. After thinking for a long time, Guyu said to that ancient clan elderly, do you mean what you say? That ancient clan elderly laughed indifferently. Of course. We, the ancient clan, will not go back on our words. Good. Since you all are so confident, let's give it a try today. Guyu snickered. The ancient clan elderly shot a look at a green-robed man beside him. The green-robed man immediately took a step forward at the drumming of the ancient clan war drums. Yu Tianhe from ancient clan. Who is coming forward to enlighten me? Yu Tianhe looked across the masses at the top of the city walls plainly. The heavenly city figures looked at each other. Yu Tianhe was one of the 10 young talents of ancient clan, and even the youngest young lord of the ancient clan, Mo Feng, only had a draw with him. Humph. Arrogant. The injured elderly sneered. Let me meet you. Then, the injured elderly was about to leave the city to accept the battle. Wait. Suddenly, Guyu walked forward and stopped the injured elderly. Miss Yi was sent by the headquarters. I wish to let Miss Yi accept this battle and let her familiarize herself with the ancient clan as soon as possible. If Miss Yi is defeated, it's not too late for you to step in. The injured elderly looked at Enchanting and said with a frown, Miss Yi is still too young. Although her martial realm is powerful, she does not have enough foundations. Furthermore, Miss Yi does not know anything about Yu Tianhe, but we have fought many times. Even if I cannot defeat him, I can still flee back. Currently, every young lord in Heaven City was extremely precious, and nothing must go wrong. Chapter 1177, Heaven City, 5. Enchanting was currently inspecting the foot of the city walls. The poison in the ancient clan members was already greatly weakened, and many of them had a significant increase in their skills, with several young lords present. Enchanting was a little helpless. Ling Yan should have laced a more toxic poison back then and kill all of these bastards. While that was what she thought, she knew that it was simply unrealistic. Ling Yan laced poison on a large scale, and the effects of poison would be greatly diminished once it dissolved in water no matter how toxic the poison was. Furthermore, most of the people from the ancient clan were in the arcane supremacy, divine arcane supremacy, and even heavenly venerate realm. Thus, it was almost impossible to poison them to death. If the poison was too strong, it would be easily detected as well. What Ling Yan had done was already a great help to this mainland. If not for Ling Yan, this mainland would not have lasted to this day and would probably have been annihilated within several days of the ancient clan's invasion. Miss Yi just reached Heaven City. I'm afraid it's not good, if she goes out to accept the battle now, the injured elderly looked at Guyu and said with a frown. However, Guyu shook his head and replied. No matter what, Miss Yi is a young lord sent by the headquarters. Although she is young, she must have a forte. Sending Miss Yi to the field would be the best. If she wins, we can also drive the Yu ancient clan out. The injured elderly was hesitant. What Guyu said seemed to make sense, but the Yu Tianhe was too powerful and was one of the 10 great young talents of the Yu ancient clan. If Yi Qingtang was highly skilled, she should all the more stay in Heaven City to observe the fight. It was not too late to challenge Yu Tianhe after she completely understood him. Alright, there's no need to talk much. Let's decide it as such. Guyu waved his hand and stopped the injured elderly from speaking again. Alright, the injured elderly no longer spoke anything else. Guyu was the overall commander of Heaven City, and others would oblige unconditionally once Guyu made a decision. This was the rule of the battlefield. Miss Yi, do you have any issues? Guyu looked at Yi Qingtang quickly and chuckled. Senior Guyu is the overall commander of Heaven City. Since you have already made the decision, I will not have any issues, Yi Qingtang said. Obviously, Yi Qingtang knew what Guyu was plotting. Before she came to Heaven City, she had already heard from the Peerless School's sect master that this Guyu seemed to be very close to the Baiming Manor chief. Yi Qingtang initially believed that in the face of a calamity, everyone would be united to defeat the enemy. Yet, this Guyu was so short-sighted. She should not be the first to go up regardless of any aspect, as she did not know anything about Yu Tianhe. If she was the overall commander, she would definitely let the newcomer observe the battle first and then send them to the field once the newcomer had a rough understanding of the Yu ancient clan figures. The Yu ancient clan's martial skills and foundations were much more powerful than that of this mainland from the start, and hastily countering them would only result in the huge likelihood of death. Of course, Yi Qingtang would not dispute with Guyu right now. After all, Guyu was the overall commander of Heaven City while she was a young lord sent over to support them. Guyu indeed had the right to do this. Thus, Yi Qingtang would not comment much. Chapter 1178, Heaven City, 6, Haha, good. Miss Yi is indeed as courageous as a man. I wish you a victory in your first battle. Guyu nodded and said. Immediately, Yi Qingtang leaped down from the city walls and landed on the ground. Seeing that it was a young lady, the Yu ancient clan lady snickered. Why? Does the south battlefield not have anyone already? You all actually sent a little lady here to accept the battle. Guyu shouted coldly from the top of the city walls. I think you all are the joke. Miss Yi is a powerful figure sent by the headquarters. She is already a young lord at a young age. Today will definitely be the day you die. Upon hearing that, the Yu ancient clan elderly snickered and signaled a finger at the man beside him. Tianhe, kill this so-called young powerful figure sent by the headquarters. With the order, the green-robed man walked forward expressionlessly. The Yu ancient clan army immediately retreated to make space for a large battlefield for Yi Qingtang and Yu Tianhe. Miss Yi, we believe that you will definitely be able to behead this Yu Tianhe given your skills. Guyu's voice traveled down very quickly. Yi Qingtang sized up Guyu discreetly. It seemed that this overall commander of Heaven City really wanted her to die in the hands of Yu Tianhe. On the account that you're a lady and that you're so young, I'll spare you 3 moves. After 3 moves, I will chop your head down. Yu Tianhe stared at Yi Qingtang and said coldly. Spare me 3 moves, Yi Qingtang sized up Yu Tianhe meaningfully. That's generous of you. I will not refuse it if that's the case. The Yu ancient clan's arrogance was what Yi Qingtang wished to see. This was a battlefield, and if her enemy wanted to spare her 3 moves, it was impossible for Yi Qingtang to reject it. Suddenly, without any warning, Yi Qingtang turned into a white shadow at an extremely high speed that even the Yu ancient clan elderly afar could not help but be stunned. That lattice speed and movement were truly exceptional. Swoosh! In the blink of an eye, Enchanting was already in front of Yu Tianhe. A glint flashed across her eyes immediately, and she rammed a fist at Yu Tianhe. Yu Tian's eyes widened after sensing the force in Enchanting's punch, and he raised his hand to block it instinctively. Boom boom. A thunderous roar reverberated throughout the place. Under everyone's shocked watch, Yu Tianhe trembled intensely and staggered more than 10 steps backward. It was only when he planted his feet on the ground did he finally diffuse the force from Enchanting's punch and stabilize himself. He fought back. The scene shocked all the archers and powerful figures at the top of the city walls. Enchanting's cold gaze landed on Yu Tianhe, who was a few meters away from her, and she said indifferently, "The Yu ancient clan never goes back on their words. I believe everyone heard you promise that you would spare me 3 moves, but you fought back at the first move. That is disappointing." Yu Tian's eyes turned golden. This lady was much more powerful than that young Imo Feng from that day. If he did not retaliate the force from that punch just now, the consequences would have been dire. "Tianhe, kill her!" The Yu ancient clan elderly shouted furiously. As the elderly spoke finish, an astonishing sword intent emerged around Yu Tian's body. The supposed sword intent was willpower cultivated by powerful figures of the sword Dao. As long as this willpower was sufficiently powerful, it could annihilate anyone with just the slash of a sword. Chapter 1179, Victory. Sensing the force of the sword intent radiating out from Yu Tianhe, Enchanting's mind, qi, and spirit escalated to the peak instantly. Enchanting was not under too much pressure to face these young powerful figures of Yu ancient clan, and there should be no issue as long as she fought carefully. At this instant, Yu Tianhe gripped the sword handle at his waist, and his eyes were cold. The power of the sword intent intensified. Strong winds raked up in the surroundings and kicked up dust everywhere, resembling the arrival of a natural disaster that struck terror in one's heart. The masses at the top of the city walls of Heaven City frowned deeply, and many were worried for Enchanting. Even the youngest ancient clan young lord, Imo Feng, almost could not resist the force of Yu Tian's sword intent, which seemed to be much more powerful and frightening than that time. Enchanting did not dare to be careless in the face of such a powerful sword intent willpower. "You may die from this blow." Yu Tianhe looked at Enchanting expressionlessly and said. Enchanting scoffed. "I look forward to it." As Enchanting finished her sentence, Yu Tianhe raised his right shoulder, and a slashing sound pierced the air. In a flash, a terrifying sword gleam seemed to befall from the heavens and aimed towards Enchanting. This sword intent was extremely horrifying and was loaded with an inexplicable destructive force. Many powerful figures at the top of the city walls were stunned. The force of this sword intent was a large upgrade when compared to before. The corner of Gu Ye's lips tugged up slightly into an undetectable sneer. He had 2 motives for sending Enchanting to accept the battle. One was to deplete Yu Tian's combat capability, as his combat capability would diminish greatly for a short period of time after using the sword intent. The second was to let Enchanting die on the battlefield to help the Beiming Manor chief vent his anger. A mere young Lord 8th Heaven cultivator was not indispensable to Heaven City. Gu Ye's smile deepened as he watched a streak of sword intent slash out. He was extremely clear of Yu Tian's combat capability, and Enchanting would definitely be unable to block his full-blown sword intent attack no matter what she did. Nevertheless, almost instantly, Gu Ye's smile froze on his face utterly. Enchanting actually turned into a pitch-black flame before everyone's eyes. The force of the flame surged into the sky as though it was the very first spark of flame since the dawn of history. Under everyone's shocked gaze, the black flame crashed into Yu Tian's sword intent violently. At that moment, the sound of explosions rang incessantly. It was as though the sky had shattered and the end of the world had arrived. The searing heat waves produced from the harsh crash of the sword intent and the flame flooded the surroundings. Some less skilled ancient clan figures who were nearby were instantly swept hundreds of meters away by the impact. In the next second, Tian's face paled, and blood seeped out from the corner of his lips as he staggered backward continuously. Once the force of the sword intent completely dispersed, the black flame condensed rapidly, and Enchanting appeared before everyone again. "Good fight," Enchanting said coldly as she looked at Tianhe. Tianhe was silent for some time before finally speaking. "I lost." Chapter 1180, Defend, 1, Lost. The ancient Yu clan elderly was astonished that Tianhe actually lost to a lady. After a temporary silence, the people in Heaven City cheered excitedly. This was the second time Heaven City defeated ancient Yu clan since it was surrounded. "Miss Yi is indeed amazing. Look. I said that the headquarters would not abandon Heaven City, but some of you still belittled Miss Yi just now, ha ha ha. Nice. Look at the ancient Yu clan people's expression. They must have never thought that Tianhe would be defeated." Enchanting subsequently looked up at ancient Yu clan elderly and said, "You all said that as long as someone from Heaven City can win, you will automatically retreat. I wonder if the ancient Yu clan will go back on their words for the second time." A cold glint flashed across the ancient Yu clan elderly's eyes after he heard what Enchanting said, and he sized up Enchanting a few more times. Ultimately, he scoffed and led the ancient Yu clan masses away. A flurry of cheers erupted in Heaven City. After the ancient Yu clan masses left completely, the gates of Heaven City opened, and Enchanting entered the city. "Miss Yi is indeed extraordinary. It seems that my decision this time is right." Guyu looked at Enchanting and forced a laugh. Enchanting sized up Guyu several times without saying anything. Miss Yi is tired from the long journey and even fought the ancient Yu clan. She worked hard and attained great merits. "I will host a banquet for Miss Yi tonight," said Guyu. "There's no need for a banquet. Heaven City is short of rations right now. Save whatever we can," Enchanting said. "Ha! It really isn't easy for Miss Yi to be able to consider these at such a young age. Alright, since that's the case, Miss Yi may rest first." "I have already arranged a resting place for Miss Yi," Guyu said. Enchanting did not refuse and followed them to a small pavilion at a rather secluded corner. "Miss Yi." At this instant, Ling Yan's voice traveled into Enchanting's ears. Enchanting immediately took out her voice transmission stone. "I thought you died." Ling Yan chuckled lightly. "How will I dare to die when I haven't managed to see Miss Yi again?" Enchanting frowned slightly. "Can't Ling Yan talk properly?" Enchanting could vaguely hear that Ling Yan's side was a little noisy. Enchanting asked instinctively, "Where are you?" "In a prison," replied Ling Yan. Enchanting was stunned. Prison. After they parted the other time, Ling Yan returned to Central Mainland safely. Why was he in prison now? Yes. There was a hint of laughter in Ling Yan's voice, and he completely did not seem like he was imprisoned. "I am the Eternal Dynasty's third prince. My father has aged, and there is a fight for the throne now. I believe Miss Yi knows some things about this too." Enchanting was shocked after hearing what Ling Yan said. "You lost the fight." "That's not the case," Ling Yan said. "I've never had any interest in being the emperor of a dynasty. However, one of my brothers and sister viewed me as a threat. Thus, they joined forces and sent me to prison. I wish to get some silence, and it's also perfect for me now that I can chat with you." Enchanting stared blankly at the voice transmission stone. In this world, perhaps only Ling Yan would stay in a prison to find peace. It was amazing how he could still be this calm at this moment. Chapter 1181, Defend, 2, However, I am looking for you for something. Before Enchanting spoke, Ling Yan's tone changed, and there was a rare seriousness in his tone. Miss Yi, listen to me seriously right now. I'm listening. Do you want me to save you? Enchanting responded. There's no need to save me but. Miss Yi, I wish for you to leave the mainland that you are in right now and head to the Eternal Dynasty immediately, Ling Yan said. Now. Go to the Eternal Dynasty. Enchanting was slightly dumbfounded. Why did Ling Yan's words make her increasingly confused? 1 second ago, he said there was no need to rescue him, but in the next, he wanted her to head to the Eternal Dynasty immediately. Was this not requiring any rescue? Although Enchanting complained in her heart, worry crept into her heart unknowingly. After we chase the ancient Yu clan away, I will go look for you in the Eternal Dynasty. You are not in any danger right now, are you? Enchanting questioned carefully. Ling Yan was Eternal Dynasty's third prince after all, and the next emperor was not set yet. The old emperor had not died, and the eldest prince and princess probably still did not dare to kill Ling Yan. Given Ling Yan's intellect, Enchanting believed that it would be an easy feat for Ling Yan if he wished to leave the prison, and he must have his own objectives for staying in the prison. Miss Yi, you may be mistaken. What I mean is for you to leave the mainland that you are in immediately. Immediately. Enchanting's brows furrowed slightly. The mainland's crisis was not resolved yet, and ancient Yu clan had a powerful army. How could she leave now? Why was Ling Yan so urgent for her to leave? Miss Yi. I know you are confused, but if you believe me, you must follow what I say, Ling Yan said again. I naturally believe you, but I want to know why, Enchanting said. She trusted Ling Yan, but how could she easily abandon everything and leave when they were in a fierce war now? This time, Ling Yan did not reply to Enchanting immediately. There was a silence on the other side of the voice transmission stone. A long time later, Ling Yan's voice finally traveled out from the voice transmission stone. Because you will die. Enchanting was dumbfounded by what Ling Yan said. She would die. Enchanting did not have any suspicions about what Ling Yan said. Ling Yan possessed the karma bloodline and had the power of karma. If Ling Yan calculated that she would die with the power of karma, then she would definitely die. Does my death have any value to this mainland? Enchanting remained silent for a while and suddenly asked. If you leave, the mainland that you are in will probably be annihilated, and the ancient Yu clan would become even more powerful. If you don't leave, this mainland may be saved. But the price is that you will die. Ling Yan's voice traveled from the voice transmission stone. It is also to say that, my death will win a chance of survival for this mainland, right? Enchanting was calm as though she did not hear the prediction that she would die. It should be so. The power of karma can only predict these at this stage. Ling Yan replied. Enchanting looked down slightly. Familiar faces flashed by in her mind. It was easy for her to leave this mainland, but what would happen to Little Yu Yun, Yi family, Si family, Xianling sect, and Falling Sky Valley? Perhaps Enchanting could avoid the Yu ancient clan's watch if she left alone discreetly, but it was almost unrealistic if Enchanting wished to bring everyone with her. Chapter 1182, Defend, 3. Since Enchanting believed Ling Yan's calculation, she would die if she stayed. She naturally also believed his calculation that this mainland would be completely wiped out once she left. If she left, her loved ones whom she tried so hard to protect until now. Enchanting closed her eyes and took a deep breath. The next time she opened her eyes, they were filled with determination. If that's the case, I will not leave then, Enchanting said resolutely. In her previous life, she lost everything at a young age and had no one to care for. She had tasted such qualms and regret for 300 years. In this life, even if she knew she would die, she still wished to protect the people whom she cared about. Ling Yan remained silent for a moment after hearing Yi Qingtang's reply. Sometime later, his voice could be heard again, though the usual trace of laughter in his tone was absent this time. Miss Yi, other people's life or death have nothing to do with me. I only wish to protect you and ensure that you are safe. Yi Qingtang was taken aback by Ling Yan, and her lips tugged up into a smile uncontrollably. Thank you. Yi Qingtang looked at the wide sky through the window of the pavilion. Ling Yan, my family and friends are in this mainland. If I get lucky and don't die, I will definitely go to the Eternal Dynasty to rescue you. Without waiting for Ling Yan to say anything more, Yi Qingtang switched off her voice transmission stone. She looked at the little white tiger that was sleeping soundly beside her and then kept the voice transmission stone. Yi Qingtang believed that humans could control their destiny. Her life should be controlled by herself and should not be left to destiny. Even if she was really going to die in this great war, she would crawl out from hell once again. Having lived 2 lives, she had too many ties and people she cared for in this mainland. No matter how dangerous the road ahead was, she would not abandon her friends and family and leave alone. In this life, she must protect them to the very end. The wind blew in the dark night. Yi Qingtang remained awake the entire night. In the early hours of the next day, a young teen knocked on Yi Qingtang's door and informed her that Guyu called her to the main hall. Yi Qingtang immediately left her room and followed the young teen to Heaven City's meeting hall. Many powerful figures in Heaven City were already there, and Guyu was seated at the host seat. Noticing that Yi Qingtang had arrived, many powerful figures looked at Yi Qingtang amiably. Yi Qingtang's victory over Yu Tianhe of the ancient Yu clan yesterday had won a small chance of survival for Heaven City and helped them vent their anger. Ha! Miss Yi is here. Quickly take a seat, Guyu said with a smile. Yi Qingtang nodded and sat on an empty seat at the left. Alright, since everyone is here, let's discuss how to counter the ancient Yu clan's attack on Heaven City today. Guyu swept a glance across everyone and said. Upon hearing that, many powerful figures looked at each other and had nothing to say for a moment. How would they know how to tackle the ancient Yu clan strategy of surrounding the city? Miss Yi, do you have any good ideas? Guyu's eyes landed on Yi Qingtang when he saw that everyone was silent. Senior Guyu is the overall general. Our opinions and ideas are not important. Since you assembled us together to discuss the matter, I believe you should have thought of a sound plan, Yi Qingtang said without hesitation. Chapter 1183, Attack, 1, with a light chuckle, Guyu nodded and said, Miss Yi is right. I do have some solutions in mind. Brother Guyu, what solutions do you have? The injured elderly asked hurriedly. Everyone, although Heaven City's steep terrains make it easy to defend and hard to attack, it will definitely be invaded in no time if we remain trapped. Everything is only a matter of time, Guyu said. There was a flurry of discussions after Guyu spoke. Everyone was also aware of what Guyu said, but there were no good solutions. So, we have to attack Dragon Elephant City to solve the root problem. Dragon Elephant City is the main city of their team. If we can make an issue in Dragon Elephant City, the pressing emergency will automatically be resolved, Guyu said with a smile. Make an issue in Dragon Elephant City. Everyone was surprised to hear that. Dragon Elephant City was the headquarters of the troop of the ancient Yu clan army surrounding Heaven City. Was it whoever daring to head to Dragon Elephant City courting death? If we can set a fire in Dragon Elephant City, and burn the rations for this ancient Yu clan troop, they will definitely rush back to Dragon Elephant City. By then, rations can be transported from the headquarters into the city. Guyu smiled. Emichim, what Brother Guyu said is indeed an excellent idea. As long as we can make this troop that encircled Heaven City believe that their headquarters in Dragon Elephant City is attacked, they will rush back immediately. One of the young powerful figures nodded repeatedly. Brother Guyu, although the idea is pretty good, the price we have to pay is too great. At least several young lords will have to head to Dragon Elephant City to make it seem that Dragon Elephant City is attacked. However, those young lords would probably lose their lives in Dragon Elephant City then, the injured elderly commented with a frown. There's no need, Guyu shook his head and said. We only need to send one young lord and dozens of ordinary soldiers. Do you have anyone in mind then, Brother Guyu? A powerful figure looked at Guyu and asked. This young lord who headed to Dragon Elephant City was highly likely to die, and no one was willing to seek death. The mission to head to Dragon Elephant City was no different from offering one's life. Brother Guyu, do you have any candidates in mind? The injured elderly asked. Yes, I already do. Guyu nodded, and his gaze subsequently landed on Enchanting. Noticing the situation, someone asked, Brother Guyu, are you planning to let Miss Yi head to Dragon Elephant City? Yes. Guyu nodded and said, everyone has witnessed Miss Yi's skills today. If anyone else headed to Dragon Elephant City, they might not return, but if Miss Yi went instead, there should not be too great of a problem. The powerful figures in the hall appeared rather surprised to hear that. No matter how powerful Enchanting was, it was impossible for her to head to Dragon Elephant City alone and still return unscathed. However, if Enchanting did not go, they would be the ones who had to head to Dragon Elephant City. Everyone, this mission to attack Dragon Elephant City will be handed to Miss Yi. Does anyone have any objections? If anyone thinks that they are more suitable than Miss Yi for this mission, you may come forward as well. Guyu swept a look across the scene and smiled. However, no one spoke up at this moment as no one wished to go to Dragon Elephant City. Chapter 1184, Attack, 2, Miss Yi, do you have any problems? Seeing that no one had any opinions, Guyu nodded in satisfaction and looked toward Enchanting. No. Enchanting replied. Guyu was slightly shocked to hear Enchanting. He originally thought that Enchanting would not be willing to head to Dragon Elephant City, and he would have to spend time to persuade her or even use his identity as the overall general in the end. Nonetheless, what Guyu did not expect was that Enchanting agreed so straightforwardly. Good. Miss Yi is indeed extraordinary. This mission is extremely tough. Miss Yi needs to disguise herself as a troop to attack Dragon Elephant City, and the ancient Yu clan masses encircling Heaven City will definitely return. By then, Miss Yi just needs to retreat, and the mission will be completed, Guyu said with a smile. Saying it was more than easy, but who could retreat safely when being surrounded by the ancient Yu clan powerful figures? I will do my best, Enchanting looked at Guyu and said. Miss Yi can select any 100 soldiers from Heaven City as long as they are not young lords. Guyu added on. There's no need. I am fine alone. Enchanting refused. Enchanting's refusal to bring anyone else aligned with Guyu's intention. Alright. You can make some preparations and set off tonight then. After the meeting ended, Enchanting turned and left the hall. Late at night, Enchanting left Heaven City and turned into a bolt of light, darting towards Dragon Elephant City. When she was 5 kilometers away from Dragon Elephant City, she stopped. Come out, Enchanting said softly. In the next second, the masses who were supposed to be in Falling Sky Valley, however, walked out from the dark, with the Blood Moon Elder's enormous body being the most eye-catching. The root problem of Heaven City was the insufficient number of powerful figures. As such, Enchanting had already notified the people in Falling Sky Valley to head to Heaven City to defend it. However, Guyu made Enchanting pretend to attack Dragon Elephant City today, and as such, she might as well lead the Falling Sky Valley army to completely conquer Dragon Elephant City. The little Luo Shui ran out from the crowd and hugged Enchanting's calf immediately. Enchanting grinned and hugged little Luo Shui and little Yu Yun in her arms. Falling Sky Valley was no longer safe. The ancient Yu clan wanted to obtain the full power of the spiritual abode and thus had to obtain little Yu Yun first. Hence, Enchanting would not let them remain in Falling Sky Valley, and staying by her side was the safest way. Eldest young lady, we received your letter today and did not head to Heaven City but waited here instead as per your orders. Daoist Zijin walked forward and told Enchanting. Good. With a brief nod, Enchanting said, let's attack and capture Dragon Elephant City together. Yes. Everyone nodded successively and shouted. The group of powerful figures traveled in the air and flew towards Dragon Elephant City. In no time, Enchanting and the rest arrived in Dragon Elephant City. Many powerful figures in Dragon Elephant City were sent to besiege Heaven City, and there were not many powerful figures in Dragon Elephant City currently. Thus, capturing the city did not require great effort for Enchanting. Kill! At this instant, Elder Baikue shouted furiously and took the lead to charge into Dragon Elephant City. Dozens of young lords, including Blood Moon Elder's combat abilities, made them an immensely powerful army. There's a surprise attack. Quickly informed the general. A Yu ancient clan powerful figure saw dozens of young lords in the air, and his expression changed drastically. The south battlefield was already in their control, so where did these dozens of young lords appear from? Die! With a furious yell, Blood Moon Elder stepped forward and crushed the Yu ancient clan powerful figure with his foot. Elder Enfo has mutinied. Plenty of powerful figures were shocked and they noticed the Blood Moon Elder's enormous body invading Dragon Elephant City and killing the Yu ancient clan people. A huge war erupted in Dragon Elephant City at this instant, with dozens of young lords and hundreds of young disciples within Yin Yang perfected Lord 4th Heaven to 6th Heaven launching attacks under Enchanting's lead. There were few people defending Elephant Dragon City to begin with. In just an hour, the ancient Yu clan figures defending Dragon Elephant City were all killed, thus, Dragon Elephant City was conquered by Enchanting. Sometime later, the Yu ancient clan army finally received the news and rushed back to Dragon Elephant City at top speed. However, the overall general's expression changed once he returned to Dragon Elephant City. The city had already fallen and was conquered by that lady who defeated Yu Tianhe. You have a death wish. The elderly, who was the overall general of this troop, bellowed loudly. Attack Dragon Elephant City. Spare no one. Nonetheless, just as he spoke, the Blood Moon Elder appeared and stared at the elderly from a commanding position, thanks to his enormous body, which made him look like a giant. Come and try to attack. Elder Enfo, the Yu ancient clan was shocked to see the Blood Moon Elder. Elder Enfo actually mutinied. In a flash, dozens of young lords floated above Dragon Elephant City with hundreds of Yin Yang perfected lord soldiers at both sides. It was an appalling force. The south battlefield actually has so many more young lords. The elderly's expression changed. Currently, Dragon Elephant City was conquered by many powerful figures, and it was unrealistic if they wished to attack by force, especially when the Blood Moon Elder's combat abilities were overly frightening. How? Good, you all can conquer Dragon Elephant City and not come out. Wait for us to invade Heaven City. The elderly had a gloomy expression as he roared in fury. Whatever, Enchanting said coldly. Since Dragon Elephant City was already conquered, Enchanting would naturally not give it out, and using Heaven City to threaten her was even more of a joke. For an instant, both parties were in a stalemate, with one party encircling the city from the outside while the other remained in the city. Let's go. Sometime later, the Ancient clan elderly shouted coldly and led the Ancient clan away from Dragon Elephant City. The people in the city cheered boisterously upon noticing the situation. After ascertaining that this Ancient clan troop left completely, Enchanting headed to the hall of the main city. The Ancient clan left plenty of resources behind in Dragon Elephant City. Apart from large quantities of food and water, there were still many treasures stored. Elder Baikue exclaimed in a secret chamber of the main hall, and he subsequently walked toward Enchanting with a jet-black gourd in his hands. Eldest young lady, look at this. Elder Baikue walked forward and handed the jet-black gourd to Enchanting. Heaven's Soul Gourd. Enchanting took the black gourd over and was surprised after inspecting it for a while. Heaven's Soul Gourd was one of the ultimate Dharma treasures of this mainland. It could gather the power of souls and had been lost for a long time. No one expected that it was actually obtained by the Ancient clan and was placed in Dragon Elephant City. You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.